Would you be shocked to find out that in 2008 and 2009, the FBI, with the help of an informant, set up 4 poor black men as terrorists because the FBI's strategy for their own survival, i.e. funding from the government, was and is to target uninformed and disenfranchised Muslim men of color? This exact theory is put forth in the new HBO documentary, The Newburgh Sting, which chronicles the 2009 so-called Bronx Bomb or terrorist plot that ended up arresting and eventually convicting 4 black men in an alleged terrorist plot to bomb a Jewish center in Riverdale, New York, and to shoot a Stinger missile at a military plane in a close-by airbase. According to the FBI, the 4 men were part of a terrorist cell that plotted these evil deeds of their own volition, and with no one else's prompting or assistance. In addition, the FBI claims these men met in prison, which they did not, and that they were all members of the Newburgh Masjid al-Ikhlas mosque or Islamic Learning Center of Orange County, which they were not as well. Instead, as the documentary compellingly shows, the alleged ringleader, James Cromity, was befriended by informant Shahid Hussein in the parking lot of the mosque and eventually offered $250,000 to commit domestic terrorism. Cromity was 53 at the time of his arrest and had a long, non-violent arrest record for minor crimes. He became a Muslim while in prison. Cromity brought the other 3 men, David Williams, Onta Williams, and LaGuerre Payan, into the alleged plot, but did not recruit them from the mosque. Through FBI surveillance footage, never publicly seen before, and interviews with friends and family members of the 4 men, the documentary paints a painful picture of FBI deceit, waste of taxpayers' money, and entrapment. The 4 men convicted of plotting terrorist attacks on U.S. soil appear to have been nothing more than pawns that were preyed upon by the FBI in order to grab headlines for the organization, so as to keep the Bureau in business. Unfortunately, these 4 men were and are not the only ones being targeted by the FBI. There is an unabashed targeting of black men that is exposed in this disturbing documentary as well. As if rigging the system and lives of millions of black men wasn't enough, i.e. terrible public schools, no jobs, prison as the inevitable destination, now the FBI is targeting black Muslim men after they have converted to Islam while in prison. As the mother of David Williams said about the FBI, they're not catching terrorists, they're creating terrorists. The judge who presided over the 4 men's case, Colleen McMahon, also said during sentencing, quote, "The essence of what occurred here is that a government, understandably zealous to protect its citizens from terrorism, came upon a man both bigoted and suggestible, one who was incapable of committing an act of terrorism on his own. It created acts of terrorism out of his fantasies of bravado and bigotry, and then made those fantasies come true." McMahon perfectly summed up this pathetic show of FBI intelligence, yet the 4 men still received 25 years in prison, and real terrorists like the Tsarnaev brothers were able to unleash their homemade bombs in Boston.